building trust with the core member. And I thought before, writing down some notes, I would start from the gospel of the day. And that day it was, and if you lend to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? And it was very appropriate because that's exactly how I felt in the circle. Because I figured there were two ways of trusting. One was me trusting the core member. The other one was the core member trusting their circle, right? So that's how I felt. I'm gonna go to this circle, I'm gonna give my time and my capabilities and my love that person, and I didn't want to say he or she, but I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna make a mistake anyways. And it's a she. So, and she was like, she wasn't returning, like she wasn't giving back to me. So I was being a trustworthy, loving person, spending my time there, and she was so resistant at the very beginning, and I got mad at that. I'm like, seriously? Like, I'm here helping you? And I realized how much I started with, this is about me, and it's not about the person, and I was completely off track, right? And then I started wondering, why does this person behave like that? And then I started going myself into some thoughts about, okay, these are people who are very different from everybody else we encounter in our lives. And my issue, my mistake was trying to treat that with her and with the other members as a very regular relationship. So I went there, I'm like, I'm gonna be the nice person I'm with everybody else, and normally everybody treats me nicely because I give trust, I receive trust. That was my motto, my main thing, until I realized it doesn't work like that. So first thing I learned is we walk in a circle, we shouldn't be expecting to be in a normal relationship. It's actually a relationship, it's actually something unlike anything else in our life. I don't know about you, but when I look at my life and my other relationships, there's nothing like our week, there's nothing else that looks like that, okay? So that's something I learned. I don't know if it's beneficial for others, but it's something that really, that I really realized was important. So I kind of stopped struggling, like I got better as soon as I realized that. And then I tried to be more, understanding about the person and try to see where she was coming from. And you touched on this morning. These people learn to behave that way. They were taught like that. They had experiences who brought them there. And so they're like, they're probably they learn something like, oh, I need to fool others before they fool me, right? So that was their main practice. So I tried to be more compassionate and understanding of where they were coming from, where she was coming from. And also they don't realize, most of the time they don't realize that what they are doing, and you are the strongest part in the relationship, so you should be the one to stop and think where they come from, right? And then the other point was, so she was not trusting the circle. I don't know if it happens to everybody, and I would be curious to know if the moment they walk in the circle the first time, you have the feeling that they're not trusting you. I thought it was something pretty common, but I may be wrong. And so for the first few months, and Maureen knows, we were talking about things that were not right. We were not touching on the real things. And I'm like, what are we doing wrong? It was my first circle and also another girl's first circle, so maybe we're not good at this. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of patience, I would say, for that trust to be built, okay? For that, because the core member was thinking, okay, these ladies may just be waiting for the first opportunity for me to spill some truth that they're going to report. I think that was her first approach. And we were not aware, because we were like, okay, we're volunteering with this. It's implicit that everything is confidential here. And I realized that it wasn't as implicit for the person, for the core member. So something that you consider normal and implicit, and you're like, of course I'm not going to tell anybody. It's not as implicit for them, right? And so you realize that you keep going, and you only see that the trust is built when you look back. The hard time, I'm talking about building trust, but I don't really even know how the trust was built. But now that I look back, I see that the trust is there. And I'll give you an example. I thought this was so powerful. So there is three volunteers who are girls and a girl core member. So the very first meetings looked like a cup of tea between girls, which didn't really work. So at some point we realized it was probably better to get a guy in the group, so we tried with that experiment, and that was the moment when I realized that there was a big trust there, because we had this person coming in and we tried to make it work, and then when we talked about that with the core member and just the three of us, the three volunteers, she really, and I thought very honestly, explained how, hey girls, you are my circle. I had worked so hard to start trusting you, and it's too hard for me to now have somebody else joining, right? And that was so powerful, no matter what, like who the person was or why we did that. And I'm like, oh wow, then we built something here, right? We built some trust. And I want to say that from then on, I think it was like right after Christmas or a bit after, I don't know, you see like kind of a curve going up very slowly, so slow. And sometimes I'm still mad. Sometimes I left the circle, went home, I barely say goodbye because I get very mad. And one thing that I can't really wrap my head around is when you can tell that they are lying, they're totally lying, it's so crystal clear, and you still have to get it. So it's a good balance between you giving all that love, all that trust, and be okay with the fact that sometimes they don't, do anything to deserve that trust. They're lying to you, they are so off track. And the thing is just being there with the right plans, the right questions, the right, I wouldn't say amount of love as well. Because like with that kid who had that issue in the street, I think sometimes they just want to be listened to and heard, and even before you start building a program on how to solve their problems, right? Just be there and maybe plan some stuff. And I agree a lot is how when you help them, they remember, because one day I took an entire afternoon to go with her buy some furniture for her new place. It was the best. It was really the best. And it was an afternoon spent like that, but it's like try to treat the relationship like a regular relationship, like you would love them as if you were loving anybody else, but knowing it's not a regular relationship. And the last thing I want to say is that I need to remind myself it's never about me. It's always about them. When you do that switch, and you're like, it's not me, don't get offended, don't get this, don't get that. You put the importance and the focus on them, I think you can really switch.